everyone, how are you? I hope you're well. In today's practice of Yoga with SoulMotion, I'm excited to bring you a really warming practice and something that will really open up your body. SoulMotion Yoga stands for a practice that is a practice. We acknowledge that every day we come to the mat, that there is a difference in the way that our body responds, that our mind responds to the situation and the poses that we put ourselves in. And I really hope you enjoy this practice with a lot of heat, with a lot of challenge. And ideally, you will have a towel with you, a long or a taller towel for this practice, or if you have a yoga strap, even better. Some of you might need a block, so check in what is available for you, and I hope you enjoy the practice until we see each other in person again. Thanks for joining. Catch you later. Let's start in a standing position, right at the front of our mat. Have your feet hip width apart or close together. Become aware of your stance and whether your heels are pressing into the ground or the balls of your feet. Maybe you can lift the inner arches and feel how your quads and glutes start to engage. As you shoot your tailbone down, you might feel your bottom rib pulling in, creating length in the spine. Let's roll our shoulders up, back and down. The palms are facing slightly forward. And your chin tucks back so it's in alignment with the rest of your spine. Your gaze is forward, and maybe for a moment you can close your eyes and check in if your weight rests more on the left or the right hand side of your body. Maybe one side is stronger or feels stronger than the other, tighter. Are you leaning forward? Are you leaning back? Just become aware of your stance. Become aware of your physical body and how you can bring yourself more into balance. And then bring your awareness towards your breath. Acknowledge the breath coming in and out of your body, ideally through the nose. It's a way of controlling your breath, slowing down the breath. And gently tuck your chin under. Feel the back of the neck lengthening while you press in towards the heels and lengthen the back body. Open up your eyes. And as you rise your hands on the next inhale, your gaze might follow your thumbs. On the exhale, bend your knees a lot and drop down in towards your forward fold. Your hands are not reaching the floor. Bring your opposite hand towards the opposite elbow. Allow your torso to rest on your thighs and allow your heart to drop a little bit further. As you gently start to sway from side to side. Giving yourself permission to become longer through the back body without moving too much to the hips. Distribute your weight evenly through the balls of the feet and the heels where you're lifting the inner arches. Slowly sway yourself back towards the center. Press in towards your heels as you might feel the stretch through the glutes increasing. And then gently place both hands down towards the ground and step 1 foot at a time, far back in towards a high plank. Feel the strength and the heat building up here as you pull the shoulder blades back, squeezing the inner thighs, and press your heels away until you get a stretch in the calves. Your belly doesn't want to sag, rather lift it up a centimeter through the belly button. And then on your exhale, push back into downward facing dog. You might bend your knees, particularly for the first one. Have your feet hip width apart, your hands shoulder width. And feel how you can send your heart towards your tailbone to lengthen the spine. slowly come forward into a higher plank again. Shoulders over wrists, press the heels away. Feel the core engaging. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog, long through the spine. Make sure you don't come into sway back, so work your belly button towards the tailbone. One more time, coming forward into a high plank. Don't drop too low through the hips, squeeze the inner thighs. And then push back, downward facing dog. Can you press your heels towards the earth? One at a time, maybe both at the same time. Can you press in towards the hands to press your heels further down? And maintain the length of the spine, a gentle connection with the core as you draw the belly up towards the tailbone. And then bend your knees. Tippy-toe your feet towards the front of the mat. Lift up halfway to lengthen your spine. Pull the shoulder blades back. Make sure that your spine is nice and long. And then fold over your bent legs again. Now press in towards your feet. Can you reach your arms out towards the side, opening up like wings? And then slowly come on down again. Now bend your knees, press in towards your feet and rise your hands overhead, tall. And then slowly release the hands by the side. That was a really slow Surya Namaskar. Let's move on from here. Let's rise the hands up high. Exhale, fold forward. Don't be afraid to bend the knees. Lift up, lengthen the spine, pull the shoulder blades back. Then place both hands down towards the ground and step back and towards a higher plank. Now from here, drop your knees down towards the ground, pull the shoulder blades back, the elbows back to lower down into half chaturanga. Lift and lengthen through the chest to baby cobra, Bhujangasana. On the exhale, bring your buttocks towards your heels and push back, downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. 2. And 1. Your choice, you may step, walk, hop towards the front of the mat to lift and lengthen on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Let's get our back and core engaged, bringing the arms out towards the side, flying like wings. Can you pull the shoulder blades together? Exhale, bring them down. Then press in towards the feet, rise up to standing, all the way towards the top. And back through the center. Alright, here is a new one for you. It's like a Jiva Mukti style Surya Namaskar or Sun Salutation. We're going to hook our thumbs. This is how it's going to look. Hook our thumbs, yeah? And we're going to bend our knees and hook our thumbs in front of our thighs. Your tailbone shoots down. Now you lift up. You might come into a gentle back bend. Press into the heels as you do. And then on the exhale, let the hands go, fold forward and clasp the hands at the small of the back. Lift the fist high, drop the head low. Then press both hands down towards the ground and step your right foot far back in towards a lunge. As you land, can you lengthen the spine, pressing through the back heel. Then place both hands down towards the ground, push back into a downward facing dog, nice and long through the spine. Come forward into a high plank. Is your core engaged? Can you pull the shoulder blades back? Drop down on your knees, your chest and your chin pulling the shoulder blades back. And then from here, sliding the belly in towards the ground, lengthening through the lower body, rolling the shoulder blades back into baby cobra. Then tuck the toes under again, bring your buttocks back towards the heels and push back into a downward facing dog. You can repeat this or come forward into a high plank. Come into a full chaturanga and you bend the elbows backwards. Roll over the toes, upward facing dog. If you can't see, my thighs are off the ground. And then push back into a downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. 2. And 1. Now step your right foot forward. Step your left foot forward and lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold. Bend thumbs in front of the shin this time to press up and over in towards your easy back bend. And then slowly come forward, clasp the hands at the small of the back and drop your head down. Place both hands down towards the ground to step your left foot far back in towards the lunge. Lengthen through the spine as you press your back heel away, gaze forward. And then step back downward facing dog. Come forward into a high plank, strong through the core, squeezing in. Drop your knees, chest and chin towards the ground. It's really important you pull the shoulder blades back here. Then lift and lengthen through the chest in Bhujangasana, baby cobra, no pressure in the hands. And then slowly tuck the toes under, buttocks towards the heels, and into downward facing dog. You can repeat this or do a full vinyasa, lowering down from the high plank into chaturanga, rolling over the toes with the thighs of the ground, core engaged. Exhale, rolling over the toes once again, push back down, facing dog. Take 3 breaths. 2. And 1. And step your left foot forward. Lengthen through the spine. Exhale, the back foot folds in. Release your breath. Reaching up halfway, lengthening through the spine and then folding back down on your exhale. Pressing towards the feet, rise up, reach the hands up and overhead, and come back through the center. Well done, guys. Let's move on. Surya Namaskar B. So we're coming into our chair pose. Let's talk chair pose here a little bit. The knees pull backwards, try to come over the ankles. The tailbone shoots down so that your lower back stays long. That's when this pose moves in towards the core. Can you relax the shoulders? Take another in-breath here. Exhale, fold. Don't be afraid to bend your knees. Lift and lengthen through the chest. Exhale, both hands down towards the ground. You make jump back to a chaturanga. Rolling over the toes, upward facing dog. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Your right foot steps forward. On an inhale, your back heel goes flat. We're coming into warrior 1. And then on the exhale, coming down, high plank, into chaturanga. Lifting and lengthening our chest on the inhale. Push back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg forward, right heel flat. Coming up into warrior 1. Exhale, high plank. Your choice if you want to leave out the chaturanga and meet us in downward facing dog. One more time, right foot forward, left heel flat. Rise up. Can you press to the left heel to reach up high? Exhale, hands towards the ground, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot forward, right heel flat, rise up, warrior 1. Exhale, both hands down towards the ground, step back, high plank, chaturanga. Upward facing. And on the exhale, bring it back into downward facing for 3 to 5 breaths. Find some stability and ease here. Reconnect with your breath and your heartbeat. And find the length in the spine. 2 more breaths here. 1 more. And then however you choose, bend the knees, look in between your hands. Just step walk towards the front of the mat, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees, rise up into your chair pose, squeezing the inner thighs together. Move your knees back. Then we take another breath here. And then on the exhale, stand up all the way. Let's see where we're going from here. 1 more time, Surya Namaskar B. Let's warm up, bend the knees, rise up. Here in case it's getting a little bit cooler. Exhale, fold forward. Let's swap it up a little bit. Lift and lengthen through the chest. Place both hands down towards the ground. Jump or step back into chaturanga. Upward facing, downward facing dog. Let's start with the left leg. Forwards, back heel flat. Reach up. Both hands hands down towards the ground on the exhale. One breath, one movement, chaturanga. Upward facing on your inhale. The exhale pushes you back into length. Right foot forward, left heel flat. Come on up, warrior one. Exhale, both hands down towards the ground, strong through the arms. You can always skip those chaturangas and meet us in downward facing dog, right? Your practice, your fun. Hold for 3 breaths. Finding the length, connection towards the hands. Check your hands. One last breath. Bend your knees. Jump step walk towards the front of the mat to lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Press in towards the feet, rise up and towards your chair pose. Yeah, bending the knees, take an in-breath here to shoot your tailbone down on the exhale. Release the hands by the side. Nice and warm, I hope you are. Bend the knees, rise up, inhale. Chair pose. Exhale, fold. Half lift. Exhale, listen, step your right foot far back in towards a lunge this time. From here, can you press the back heel away? Pull your left hip back to keep your hips stable. And then when you're ready, rise up, long and strong. Can you work your back heel away while you bend towards the front knee? Keep your heart over your hips. And breathe for 3, 2, and 1. Now place your back heel down towards the ground and open your hips towards the side into warrior 2. One more time, I get you to straighten your front leg, resetting it so that your knee lengthens towards the second and third toe. I'll just readjust it myself, as you can see, trying to bring the torso right over the hips. So check in, are you leaning forward? Or are you staying centered in your warrior? Are you engaging the inner thigh of the back leg as you press the back heel down towards the ground? And are you really tensing your jaw right now because your breath starts to go a little bit deeper and faster? Release it with a smile. Take another breath here. And then when you're ready, and you're probably straighten your front leg. Shift the right hip back to reach your left hand forward, maintaining length to the side, and then turn out towards the side into Trikonasana. You can use a block underneath the left hand, or you can just rest it on your thigh. As I often do, I will extend my front knee, so bend it slightly, it's like a micro bend, and then work the inner thigh outwards. The gaze goes towards the top hand, and maybe you can work the shoulder blades together. Taking a couple of breaths. One more breath here in Trikonasana. And then from here, just bend your front knee. This time I get you to have your hand on the inside step of the foot and work the right hand really high. Yeah, so if this is not available for you, a block coming up higher will be okay, or easiest option is to bring the elbow towards the thigh. Keep the back leg strong and keep working your chest open. Take another breath here. You're doing great if you're still in it. Now let's press in towards our front heel to come and bring our chest right over your hips again. Release the right hand down and reach the left hand up and over into reverse or rainbow warrior. Check your front knees are falling in. Bring it back towards the second and third toe. All right, let's reset here. Now we're going to bring the left hand to the outside of the left foot and reach the right hand up and over. And as we do this here, often the shoulder folds down in front of your face. I want you to create space through the shoulders, working the shoulder blades together, pressing through the back heel. 3 more breaths. I feel the sweat running down my back. And we've got like 25 degrees today. So I hope you guys are getting warm. Release both hands to either side of the front foot. And then from here, pivot the back foot so you're becoming long. Engage your pelvic floor to enjoy stepping that foot back in towards your high point. high, in towards your downward facing dog. We're coming now in towards a high plank. Core strong. Let's bring one knee almost down towards the ground. And then extend that leg again. Let's not drop the hip, but just bring the other knee down towards the ground, yeah? So you're just tapping the ground and then swapping over towards the other side. Just bringing some heat in towards the core, working back towards our center. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. 1 more for fun. And push back into a downward facing dog. Well done, guys. Let's move on. Walk your hands together so thumbs and thumbs are touching. And then you might bend your knees, look forward past your hands and squat towards the front of the mat. Bring your hands towards heart center and just feel the inner thighs opening while your feet are on the ground. You can't see my feet. It's a bit difficult. I can't move the camera back any further. But my feet, my heels are on the ground. I'm still trying to lift my inner arches of the feet and maintain long spine here. Let's do a twist. Right hand in front of the right shin. Reach the left hand up, try not to twist through the pelvis. If you want a little bit more, you might come into a bind. Yeah, opening up to the left shoulder, maybe to the thigh. And release the right hand down, the left hand up. And come back towards the center. Other side, left hand in front of the left shin. Reach around. And if you want to come into the bind while maintaining length of the spine, go ahead. Breathe. Enjoy the opening. My shoulder doesn't really want to open down this side, but I do enjoy how I can work into it. And then reach one hand up, one hand down. Come back towards the center. From here, place both hands down towards the ground, heel toeing the feet in onto their minimum hip width apart, then bring them closer together. Bend your knees, come into your chair pose, the front one, and release the hands by the side as you exhale. Let's move over to the second side. Have your feet hip width apart, if not, bend your knees. Reach up into your chair pose. Let's stay here, shooting the tailbone back, shooting the knees back, engaging the core and softening the shoulders and neck. Then, as you breathe out, fold forward. Lift and lengthen to the chest and step your left foot far back in towards the lunge. Set yourself. So check if your left hip wants to fall under the right. Keep pulling the right hip back and shoot through the left leg. And when you're ready with balance, rise up. Take a few breaths here. Can you work your chest, your hip a little bit, left hip a little bit more towards the front? So ideally, your chest, your hips align with the front edge of your mat. If you're feeling you're coming into a back bend and your bottom hip rib pops out, please pull it in. Find your core strength, find your transverse abdominals. From here, placing the back heel down towards the ground, open up towards the side, warrior 2. Reset as you straighten the front leg and come back. You might not see, but my back heel is strongly grounded in towards the floor. I'm trying to bring my torso right over my hips and stay centered through the legs. Ideally, you look over the middle finger and find some ease in your face and in your jaw, or your legs, both, left and right. Holding on, your core holds you in the center and balanced. Now from here, straighten the front leg. Reach towards the front foot, which is your right foot now, and tilt into Trikonasana. So your bottom shoulder rolls under, your left hand reaches high. You work the shoulder blades together behind the back, and if, like me, you automatically overextend, bend the knee and externally rotate the upper thigh a little bit. And breathe. This could potentially be your resting pose. All right, let's bend the right knee a lot and either elbow, block, or hand down towards the ground into side angle. Yeah. So you're just reaching one hand up, one hand down. You're trying to keep your hands, your shoulders, and the other hand all in alignment. Some of you might have the hips sticking out like that. See if you can bring it down a little bit lower safely. Yeah, so you want to keep the spine long. Take another breath here. Another breath out. To come up here, engage your pelvic floor and press in towards the front heel. That's it. Your front leg stays bent as you reverse the arms up and over into reverse warrior. So the left hand comes down, lift to the left rib cage and reach your right hand up and over. Can we do 3 more breaths here? Inviting the sun in. 1 more breath. Now, let's bring the right hand to the outside of the right knee and reach the left hand up and over. So here again, don't let your elbow fall down. Open up to the chest. Pull the right hip back. Find length in the spine. 3 more breaths. And here I come to intensity. I just did heel sprints and then I did a class. And now I'm recording another one for you. So my legs are starting to shake. All right, let's turn and pivot the back foot into a stable lunge. Before you move your front hip back, can you engage your pelvic floor to make sure you're not straining through your side joint, and then come into a downward facing dog. Let's move forward into a high plank and let's chill here for a little bit, yeah? High plank, can we chill? If this is not a chill position for you, you can bring your knees down towards the ground, and then what I want you to do is bring your left leg out towards the side and tap it back in. Bring your right leg out towards the side and tap it back in. Left leg, tap it back in. Right foot, tap it back in. Beautiful. Let's bring our left elbow down towards the ground. Right elbow down towards the ground. Left hand where the elbow was. Right hand where the elbow was. Other side. Right elbow down. Left elbow down. Right hand. Left hand. Chaturanga, if you still have it in you, roll over your toes, upward facing dog, and push back, downward facing dog. Let's have a rest. Bring the knees down towards the ground and into child's pose. That was a convenient rest for me. Otherwise I might have trouble sending you through the rest of the practice. Alright, let's work a little bit more with the core. The hands are shoulder underneath the shoulders. Make sure that your right shoulder pulls back a little bit as you come into a high plank and walk the feet together. The right shoulder continues to pull back as you roll into the outside edge of the right foot as you reach your left hand high. Okay, let's see. Can we reach the left hand up and over? And as we come back and exhale, we're pulling the elbow behind us as much as we can. Reach it over. 2 more times. Exhale, pull back, and you press your feet away. Inhale, reach up and over, and pull it back. It's like you're rowing. And then bring the hands down towards the ground. Are we ready to do this on the other side? Left shoulder pulls back, and down towards the hips. You press to the left side, reaching the right hand up. Now reach your right hand up and over, bicep over ear, and then pull and row the elbow back as far as it works. Inhale, reaching forward, and over, exhale, pulling back. Up and over by the ear, and pull back, and reach up. And high plank. If you love it, chaturanga, upward facing, downward facing. Here's your break. If you need to come into child's pose, acknowledge that. Or find your breath again in downward facing dog. If you found your breath again, lift your right leg up in the air behind you. Reach it nice and far. Can you press the left heel down? Keep the shoulders even. And then bend the right knee so that the right heel comes towards the right buttocks. Great. And extend the leg. And on the exhale, can you bring the right knee towards the right elbow? now can you bring your right knee a little bit higher than the right elbow? Yeah. Good. Let's do that. Can you do it again? Can we have a conversation here? Have a little bit of a chat? Yeah, it gets challenging, doesn't it? All right, lift it up one more time. And then step it through in between the hands. Drop your back knee down towards the ground. And what I want all of you to focus on right now is to pull the right hip back and rise up. So my legs are like in a box shape almost, yeah? As I lean a little bit forward in towards the front knee, the right knee moves forward, the right hip pulls back so that my hips stay aligned. Rising the hands up on an inhale. If it feels right, interlace the fingers into a pistol grip, that's how it looks. And see if you can bring it behind your shoulders while you're shooting your tailbone down. Take 3 breaths. Can your elbows come a little bit higher? 2. And 1. Then shoot it up again, shoot your tailbone down. Place the hands down towards the ground and push back into a downward facing dog. Let's do the other side. Left leg lifts, lengthen it, keep the shoulders even, yeah? And then from here, bend your hip, bend your knee, let your left heel come towards the left buttock, so it's like you're opening up through the hip. Maybe you get a stretch to the hip flexors or quads. And then extend the leg in the air and bring the left knee towards the left elbow. You can try the other way. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And then bring the left knee above the left elbow. That's it. And if you're up for it, if anyone's practicing with you, tell them a joke right now while you're here in the front. Yeah? Holding and touching the left knee above the elbow. And then extend it again. And then step it through in between your hands. Alright, drop your back knee down towards the ground. Let's set our hips up first. So I want you to be safe here. What often happens, one hip jumps under, the SI joint gets challenged, so just check that this is in place. The left hip pulls back, the front knee comes forward. A lot of people get restriction here through the hips. Try this out. If you pull your front heel back a little bit without moving, yeah? Isometrically, you create a little bit more space in the hip joint. If you're ready, move on. Interlace your finger into a pistol grip. Let's get the other fingers interlaced. And bring the pistol down towards your tailbone. Shoot your tailbone down. Lift the elbows higher and breathe. For 3, 2, and 1. Lengthen to the chest, tailbone down. Place both hands down towards the ground. Lift the back knee, engage your pelvic floor, and step back to a downward facing dog. Let's come forward into a high plank. Your choice, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Bend the knees. Jump, step, walk towards the front of the mat. Have your feet hip width apart, even wider if you like. Lengthen to the chest. And fold forward as you bend the knees. Stay here and forward fold. We created a lot of heat through this practice. If there's any opportunity for you to let go with deep breaths out through the mouth, then let it go. Let it go. You might sway from side to side. You might bring your hands towards the opposite elbow. And all that strength and tension, that awareness in stability, can you bring that awareness into motion and fluidity now? Counterbalancing, which what yoga is all about. We're always connecting the yin and the yang, the ease with the strength, the moving forward with, looking into things in retrospective. So give yourself much space and ease now. And then we slowly move on. Lift and lengthen to the chest. Exhale, fold forward and keeping the core engaged. Pressing towards the feet, bend the knees, rise up into Tadasana. and release the hands by the side. Okay, I'm going to step away a little bit so that you can see my arms as well. Can't move any further back. Reach the hands up and over. Interlace the fingers. Maybe bring the other fingers in front and lift up. Can you press through your heels and shoot your tailbone down? What naturally happens for many of us, the bottom rib pops out. Can you tuck it in so you're being nice and tight around the core? And then gently bend to one side. Can we stay here? I separate my feet for more stability. Do what you need to do for more stability, pressing into both feet equally. You might look up towards the top hem, underneath the armpit. And then come back towards the center. Let's do so on the other side. I did say we need a towel. I'm going to leave some stuff out just to keep this practice a little bit shorter. Yeah. I know we're all really busy, and if it goes above 1 hour, let go of your hands, roll your shoulders. It often gets challenging to practice, doesn't it? So I like to keep it between 40 minutes to an hour. Let's move on from here. We're ready for it if you are. So coming to the front of the mat, maybe step 1/3 down. Have your hips, have your feet hip width apart, and step your right foot forward and maybe the left foot back a little bit so that you maybe 3 feet length away from each other. The hips stay towards the front. Your heart lifts, the shoulder blades pull back, maybe pull the elbows back, and then lean forward while you keep pulling the right hip back. Keep pulling the right hip back. The right foot is forward, yeah? And then lengthen the chest with another inhale. On the exhale, fold forward. You might bring your hands down towards the ground. You might use a block or two. Keep the hands on the hips. This might be helpful, particularly if you have back issues. 3 more breaths here. Feel how you externally rotate your upper thigh and pull the right hip back as you press into the ball of the foot. Maybe lift your toes up, but press the ball of the foot in towards the ground. Yeah, you might feel more of that then. And then gently let the toes come back down towards the ground. Bend your front knee so that your knee anchors over your ankle. You might lift the left leg. Yeah? Can you lengthen your chest? You might reach the hands forward into Warrior 3. The hips stay parallel towards the ground. Take another breath here. Then bend your front knee and rise up into your high lunge. Keep pulling the right hip back, sinking lower in towards the front knee. Heart stays over hip. I'm going to just rotate over towards the other side so that you can see me better and I can see what I'm recording. And then bring your back heel down towards the ground. Open up towards the side into Warrior 2. Reset, straightening the front leg and set it straight back, pointing towards the second and third toe. You guys are doing well. Let's take 3 breaths here. 2, can you press both feet equally in towards the earth, lifting through the pelvic floor and engaging through the pelvic floor. Now straighten your front leg. Reach forward and tilt into Trikonasana. If you want to work a little bit more about the core and your spine is long, maybe reach the right hand forward. Maybe reach the left arm to match. And breathe for 3. 2. Reach forward. 1. One hand down. 1 hand up. Bend the front knee. I'll place the right hand to the inside step of the right foot. Drop your left hip down and lengthen here. For another 3. Let's see if you want to bind. Reaching your right hand underneath the right thigh. Opening up through the left shoulder. Go ahead. For 1 more breath. And then pressing towards your front heel. Engage your pelvic floor and core to rise back up to Warrior 2. Find the length in the spine before you reach up and over into reverse warrior. And then from here, let's come on back down. Hello inner thighs. Right hand to the outside of the right foot and reach the left hand up and over. Extended side angle. You've got this. Now we're going to place both hands down towards the ground. Pivot your back foot at the same time. To engage pelvic floor, step back, downward facing dog. Come forward into a high plank. Stay here. Move back into downward facing dog or chaturanga. Your shoulders will know it after this practice. Lift and lengthen. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. So this is your rest. If you need a rest here in child's pose, go ahead. 2 more breaths. 1 more. And then bend your knees. Look past your hands to jump, step, walk towards the front of the mat. Lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold forward, bend your knees. Don't be afraid. Press in towards the feet. Rise up to standing all the way towards the top. And then release the hands by the side. Whew. Let's move on towards the opposite side. So your feet are hip width apart. Hold your hands towards your hips so you know how it feels. We are going to step the left foot forward, the right foot back this time. I believe. Keeping the hips parallel towards the front of the mat. You pull the elbows back, lifting through the chest, and then fold forward as you pull your left hip back. Lengthen for another breath. Externally rotate your upper thigh, and if you want to let go, let go. It helps to bring the hands towards the hips if you have lower back issues to maintain the length through the spine, yeah? The longer you are through the spine, generally the less compression. So just acknowledge what is right for you. It's not about reaching the ground. Yoga was never about that. Yeah. It's about the experience that you have on the way down. I'm sure you heard this before. Take 2 more breaths here. 1 more. And then slowly bring your left knee, as you bend it, over your left ankle. You might bring your right leg up in the air. And maybe you reach your hands forward into warrior 3 and just hold it here. For 3, 2, and 1. To bend your front knee, you come into a lunge, gently coming down. And just find ease here, yeah? No, warrior 3 is not a pose to really find ease at. Relax the shoulders, the jaw. Keep the legs nice and strong. And then place your back heel down towards the ground. Open up towards the side into warrior 2. Ooh, slipping here on the carpet. I sometimes have to reset my feet here, yeah? Resetting my torso over the hips. Maybe straighten your front leg for another couple of breaths and then come back down. Yeah. All right, let's do it. Left hand on the inside. Easy option is still elbow or block. If you want to take it a little bit further, bring your hand around and hold the right hand with the left wrist, yeah? So you're working the right shoulder open in this. And you might drop the shoulder a little, the hip a little bit lower, yeah? And we're going to take 3 breaths here. 2. And 1, and then release one hand down. Press in towards the front heel, engage your pelvic floor, and reach the left hand up and over into reverse warrior. Nice work. Okay, can we go there? Left hand to the outside of the left leg. Reach the right hand up and over. Drop the right hip down. So you're becoming strong from the back heel towards the right hand, and work the chest open. 3 more breaths. 2. And 1. And place both hands down towards the ground. Pivot the back foot so your hips are aligned. Engage pelvic floor to step back into downward facing dog. Your choice. Lift and lengthening into high plank or meters in child's or downward facing dog. Yeah? Your choice. If you need a break, and vinyasas are done for you today. Acknowledge that. We're going to rest for a moment in downward facing dog. You might bring your hands backwards if that feels right to you, to release the shoulders. Connect with your breath, your heartbeat, and slow both down equally. We don't want to be running away and coming into a mode of major physical and emotional stress. Although stress is really, really good to allow us to become more resilient, right? If we had no stress and everything was going well in our life, how would we respond if something all of a sudden happened, something really bad? We had no opportunity to practice, right? And this is kind of how yoga comes in. We create an artificial challenge in order to then deal with the real challenges of life. Alright, let's bring the hands a little bit further in front of the shoulders, tuck the toes under, and enjoy a downward facing dog. Let's lift the right leg up in the air. On the exhale, bring your right knee towards your right wrist and slide the left foot a little bit over towards the left. Lengthen your back leg behind you and bring your hands towards your hips. I do like pigeon here. It's kind of important that your hips again stay parallel towards the front of the mat and that the inner thighs stay engaged a little bit. And then slowly, as you pull your right hip back, keep the pelvic floor engaged. You might fold forward here for a nice stretch. Do you know where you feel it? Maybe the inner thighs, maybe you feel it through the glutes, and maybe through the hip flexors on the left. Your body will tell you where you're holding on. Slowly bring your hands back up. For anyone that feels like an extra stretch, bend your back knee. Moving a little bit into a twist here. You might reach the right hand around so that your chest and hips have a bit more opportunity to stay straight towards the front. Yeah. If there is more for you, you might pull it in a little bit more. Yes, so I have my fingertips pointing in the same direction as the feet, as the toes. And then we're going to let go. Listen, again here, engage your pelvic floor, lift your back knee off the ground and engage your core to help that heavy, potentially heavy leg to pull back. For me, my legs are pretty heavy. They're very muscular. So it's quite important for me to engage the pelvic floor and engage the core to support the muscles through the hips to move that way. Alright, let's do the other side. Left leg up in the air, nice and long, big stretch. And then bring the left knee to the left wrist where you slide the right foot out a bit towards the right. Lengthen the right foot back. Lift and lengthen the chest. Maybe bring your hands towards the hips, adjusting the hips. And then when you're ready, fall on down with a long, long spine. And rest here. If you feel this in your knee and there is like a pain in your knee, that's not so good. So adjust your foot, flex your foot, point your toes. Some that helps. If that is still irritating your knee, you might want to move out of this pose. The idea here is that you feel it somewhere in the hip, the groin, the inner thigh. slowly come on back up, hands underneath the shoulders. Stay here for a moment or bend your back knee, reach around with your left hand to hold it. If you want to pull it in a little bit, go ahead. Keep the chest and the hips parallel towards the front of your mat. And slowly place that foot down. Lift the back knee off the ground. Feel how you engage your pelvic floor in order to lift that leg back into downward facing dog. High plank. Let's stay here for a moment. This will be the last little bit of strength. If you're still up for it, drop your knees almost down towards the ground and then extend them. And your knees almost down towards the ground, extend them. 5, 4, 3, the belly stays up. 2, and 1. Beautiful. Drop your knees down towards the ground. And let's walk the hands forward, nice and wide into a V shape. And bring your forehead down towards the ground. Wiggle the shoulder blades behind the heart and drop your chest further down towards the ground if it works. If you're really flexible, you might work into Anahata pose. That means your heart and your chin drops down towards the ground and you're looking straight along the floor. Wherever you are, allow your shoulders to widen. And again, this is not to be felt in the lower back, so you might have the belly button in towards the pubic bone. And then slowly, however you can, walk the hands back in. And let's move into a child's pose. Buttocks towards the heels, forehead towards the ground, maybe the hands move back. It's a really powerful practice today. You can thank yourself for finding so much strength, so much core strength, so much heat inside yourself. Whatever your intention is to come to yoga, the heat and the will and the strength that you created will help you along your adventures in everyday life. You maybe had an opportunity to push some boundaries. Maybe had some acknowledgement of your strength. Maybe you had an acknowledgement of a lack of strength. Exciting experience with flexibility or an understanding that you're not as flexible as you thought you were. Or really clear understanding that you still need to practice a lot more yoga to become flexible. And that flexibility hopefully translates towards your life and towards your mind. And become bendy and easy to move in the storm. Staying grounded. Slowly come up. And I'm just going to extend the legs forward. A seated twist. So hug your right knee in towards the chest. And work then the right leg up and over. Reach the hands up. Really tall through the spine. Some of you might want to do this on a block. And then twist as you look over your back shoulder. I'm becoming a little bit aware of the time. So we're slowing it down, shorten the practice just a little bit again. Finding the length of the spine, drop the shoulders away. And then come back towards the center, long and strong. Press the hands down towards the ground. Let's swap over towards the opposite side. So rise the hands up high. Find the length in the spine, lift your heart, drop the shoulders. When you're ready, look over your left shoulder, press the right heel away. ease. Each in-breath could be an opportunity for you to reset the length in the spine, pull the shoulder blades down, or breathe deeper and release it. And slowly come on back up, long and strong to the spine. Release both legs down. And we're just going to come and lay on our back. Can you tuck your chin a little bit so your neck is unnaturally long? You might bring your heels close together and let them come out towards the side and into a butterfly pose or Baddha Konasana. You could use blocks underneath the thighs if it feels really strenuous in the inner thighs. And reset your buttocks so that your tailbone moves towards the heels, so you're maintaining the length of the lower back. If you're holding any tension in your body right now, either support yourself or see if you can breathe in a way and release that tension as well. You could stay here longer and then make your way into Shavasana, or move into Shavasana now. Depends a little bit on the time limit today. Wiggle the shoulder blades away from the ears. Wiggle your buttocks, cheeks from side to side until you feel really grounded. Left and right, up and down. Wiggle, wiggle. Really find a place where it feels easy to sink into. And then sink into it. If your eyes are not closed, close them up. And dive back in towards the present moment, breath, physical body. The mind wants to